Scout mission number, I don't even know how many times. So I'm going to this property I have. I am not going into my stand. I'm probably going to go in there early or some point this week. This is more of a see if they're still on the same pattern. I got to double check the wind before I get there, see which way I got to walk. And also a little bit of a scouting slash camera, new camera. This is my main camera mission. Basically, just testing out the camera, using everything, getting acclimated to it. So this is a Canon G20 electronic exterior mic. It's pretty decent. I love it. I have two of them. However, the other one stopped writing to SD cards and only puts it on the memory for the camera. I can't get it to go on SD cards. I don't know. I may actually send it back to Canon and see if I can get them to fix it, because it's just a really good camera and it works. It's been beat up pretty good. I've had it for like 5 years. And then my GoPro, so I mean, I'm gonna wear my vinyl harness, see how the GoPro fits around it, and just, I got it's just getting used to that routine of playing with cameras, using the cameras. My typical setup for cameras is last 3 years I've used the GoPro on my my bow, and it's basically rear facing to catch my second angle. Is catching me in the face, as I draw and shoot. And I think I'm going to get away from that. I have some handy cams and stuff that I can set up, which are decent, but the battery life sucks on them a little bit. They're great for like quick shoots, B-roll stuff, but I don't know. I'm going to go with a regular second angle because I'm hunting out of I will mostly be hunting out of my saddle if I'm by myself. So I'm playing around with mounting it in certain places on the camera or on my bow, and I don't know. I haven't quite mastered where I'm gonna put that yet. But anyways, let's go for a ride. Check out our spot. We're going to my private spot that borders the public land. So I got an absolute giant 8-point on camera there, and a whole slew of other bucks. So fingers crossed we see them and we don't spook anything tonight. So yes, I go full camo, whatever, and sun control to make sure I don't have any run-ins. Because the deer are really close. I usually actually park up further. You'll see when I walk in. Because it is just not worth the risk. Just when I was like, oh, I hope I'm not in too deep, I turn around and there's two doe behind me. Right there. Right. There. Well, I mean, it's out. They may have seen me moving because I was like glassing back and forth, whatever. I have a smoke scented off to the deer woods. Got out a little early today, headed to a tree stand. We had a front come in last night. It's actually kind of, yeah, it's like 75 degrees right now, which stinks. But the temperature has already started dropping a little bit from what it was earlier today. And it's a Monday night. It's kind of the only night that I can get in the stand during the week because of the archery shop. So I am headed to the deer woods. The same stand I went Saturday morning. If just because the wind is right for this spot and I can get in undetected, for the most part, and that's why I'm going to this spot. Traditionally, when the wind is on the direction it is tonight, like a northwest north wind, the deer move from field to field when it's like that. So fingers crossed, I'm gonna get there pretty early, and see how this goes. So here we go. All right, so this is where the hunt gets a little crappy when it comes to camera work, because my microphone stopped working and I was just getting static. I didn't know this, so I went through the whole early hunt interview, and I'm putting on my hunting makeup, as my wife calls it, and I'm going through the whole thing, filming geese and blue jays and squirrel. Unfortunately, you don't get all that good stuff to music with this video because the audio was crap. So I'll show some of it to you anyways. But long story short, I go through all of this, and it was a slow day on the stand. I saw more lantern flies than I did deer. I saw lots of red-tailed hawks and lots of geese and all kinds of stuff. But it was until about an hour before daylight that this guy I saw coming up through out of the bed. He was in the bedding area where I had bumped a buck earlier in August, when I was in setting my camera or adjusting my camera. I don't remember which. I don't think he was the one that I bumped, because there's another one running around that had that I believe was a really high 6, that I bumped. So they're all bedding in that area. I was really close to the bed. I knew that. But because I can access that with relative ease, on the right wind conditions, I wasn't overly worried about it. I was just going to be quiet when I walked in. Bottom line. It's just, it's recognizing the terrain, recognizing when I walked in, you can see in the footage, there's a cornfield to my left. I walked directly through the cornfield. I didn't walk the field edge because if there was any deer out, I didn't want to spook them. I didn't want to walk that side because I knew he bedded on the other side of the cornfield. So I would go like 5 or 6 rows into the cornfield, and then I made my way through the cornfield over to my stand to climb up. A couple of reasons for that. The corn is going to suppress my scent and keep it right there in the corn. It's not going to blow everywhere. It's virtually untraceable. There's minimal chance that there's going to be deer in that little cornfield. Right now, they're really not in the cornfields. They're mostly in the sorghum. So, which was out there, which is probably where he was gonna head. Another thing to notice, as we proceed through, is that the wind conditions were perfect. I continually checked them. As soon as I saw him, I checked the wind immediately. So first thing I did, I saw him, put the camera on him, zoomed it in, and then I took out my wind checker and checked the wind. That was the first thing I always do whenever I see deer, is boop, check the wind. I had plenty of time on this buck. I knew the distance. I was able to range him, although last year, the 2 doe that I missed, I was not able to range them, and I also was shooting a different. I wasn't shooting a fixed crawl. I had multiple fixed crawls, and it made it very complicated. This year, it's one fixed crawl, gap shoot. That's it. So here's the shot. As always, I like to draw back, so took some time, checked my angles, realized I couldn't wear my push archery hat the right way. It has to be backwards because the bill gets in the way. And, went through the motions like I always do, and getting set up. Everything's good. Time to sit down and try not to get caught moving. You can see that fixed crawl where my fingers are. That's the same spot every distance that I shoot. Um, Anything short of 35. This is an absolutely beautiful spot. It's a hedgerow sitting between sorghum and corn. If the wind blows in the direction of the hedgerow, I'm typically pretty good, or toward the corn that you just saw. Because the deer typically come from all of the other areas. For me to get a really close, like 5-7 yard shot, they're going to be right below me. And that's hopefully, if that does happen, they don't smell me. Here's the lantern flies, and the geese were coming through. Um, that's the stuff that you do when you're self filming. And here's the buck. So at this point, I'm pretty much just getting ready. Have the camera in place, expecting him to take a step out into the middle of this little opening. I ranged him. He was at 33 yards at this point. He actually steps a little bit closer to me, and we just kind of sit back and wait. So at this point, I had ranged him again. He was still at 31 yards. Um, and I was in the set position, basically ready to draw back. I drew back right as he pauses and come to anchor. And then at the last second, like right here, I drew back. And then as I anchored, I didn't compensate enough for that step that he took. It is what it is. Lesson learned. You could see my reaction. Unfortunately, no audio, but this is basically me saying, "Ooh, I hit back." And then just kind of processing the whole thing and going, trying to make a decision on what to do, and more importantly, getting ready to look at the footage. This is where there's definitely benefit of having footage of your archery shots in the field. You have it. We did recover him. Boone ended up coming in, helped find him. Zero blood, zero guts, zero anything, to be completely honest. I did hear a crash, what I thought was a crash, and that's where the deer ended up being. But even the property owner said, hey, typically gut shot or marginal shots on these deer, they go down toward water. I think everybody says that across the board. This dude went up. And we found him in some really thick stuff where he must have laid down and ultimately expired. Um, again, just to reflect on it, um, I would have waited a little bit longer when he stopped to make sure that I had compensated for that last second forward step. I did not do that. I know now, especially on those longer shots. Would I still take a 30-yard shot with a trad bow? Absolutely. I feel really confident at that range. Um, I will also say that the setup was right. It's a good setup to get almost a complete pass through on a shot like that. Um, the wind was right, and if you can't hear it, but I didn't stop that deer. I didn't or anything like that. I didn't do anything. He stopped on his own. That's what I was hoping for. Um, he looked like he was going to stop. If you watch his body language, which is one of the reasons I didn't want to get ahead of myself and stop him, and then put him on alert, then he ducks, and I have an even worse shot where it's like high in the just below the spine in that empty area or in a who knows what. It really does stink that I lost the meat, and because I really wanted the meat, to be honest with you, which is it's nice to be able to hunt and not be concerned about antler size. That's one of the biggest reasons I took on traditional archery was because I kept passing up. I want to shoot something bigger. I want to shoot something bigger. I want to shoot something bigger, and it just wasn't. It just wasn't working. It wasn't fun anymore. Filming makes it a lot more fun, but it's just nice to have a plan come together, and this worked. Never shot a buck this early in archery season before, um, let alone let it be a trad buck. Not many people can say they've done that, and especially here locally, there's not many traditional hunters at all. So it's cool, and I'm proud, and I love archery. I love archery hunting, and I love sharing what I am able to do and with others. So hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it was informal. I hope you learned something, and I hope that if you decide to take on traditional hunting, you come down to GHA Grass Hollow Archery and let us help you get started so that you can at least start with more information than what I had 3 years ago when I got into traditional shooting. I didn't hunt initially. So, all right. Thanks for watching. Take care. God bless. Be safe out in the deer woods.